Guys, so we are back today. Fun time. Got this rocker job that we're doing here. So took the rocker for this side, stuck it up. Now I did have to trim some areas. Like this area here was a little too long, so we had to trim that down. Got it up here. Check all of our lines here, see how it works. Like you can see, like sometimes this stuff just does not match. So you kind of got to figure out what you want to do with it. If you want to come off a little early here or whatever. But got it clamped up here. Took some clamps. Let's find my paint marker here. So then what I'll do is I will take my marker. I will mark the outline of it. And then, you always got to get a good marker. Nothing ever works when you want it to work. You know that? Alright, so we got that marked out. So then we'll take this off. So then what I will do now is I will come back and I will take all the spot welds out and then cut off probably an inch below. Always leave it long. Don't ever cut it too short. And then get that out, and then we'll work to the inner rocker and so on, and then start building backwards from inside to the out. But always want to get that marked out before you get too carried away, and then you've created a bigger problem and need more parts. So we'll do that now that it seems to be a sauna outside, and we'll get back and see what's what afterward. All right, so we have taken our air hammer here, and we have went through and busted off, you know, all the spot welds. You've drilled them out right, they just pop loose. And then now I'll come through and I will cut this out, and we'll come back and see what that looks like. All right, so we finally got the outside off, working on the inner rocker. So whenever you get the outer rocker off the inner rocker that's welded on there, the spot welds are usually in the same spot. You just have to fill behind there because not every one of them is for the inner rocker. So we went through, drilled those out, got all those. Now, just taking our air chisel, just going through and popping those off like that. Now, if you don't have an air chisel, they do make this bar. It's called seam buster. You stick it in there and just smack it with a hammer, and it'll bust the seams off easier. But I got an air chisel, so that's what I'm going to use. So we'll get that off, and then we'll come back and see what's going on. As you can see by my face, it looks like you sprayed me with a garden hose because it's hot, you know. But anyway, all right, we'll come back to that. All right, what's going on, guys? We are back today. So we got the inner put in, which, you know, was an extreme pain in the ass. You know, because if you want to get all of it out, you would have to take all these spot welds out, move that away, pretty much take this whole outer post off. So I mean, it's a pain in the ass to kind of cut around everything and do all this, but we got this stitched in. So the next step is to put the inner rocker in. So we'll grind down all these welds here, get everything cut and fit, weld that in, and then it'll be the outer. And we are that much closer to victory on that. And then, you know, the other 90,000 things we got to do to this damn truck. So we'll get that taken care of, show you how we got that in there, keep going. All right, so we've got this ready. Always put weld through primer on anything you're welding that you cannot access after it's welded. Make sure you do that. Make sure it's a good quality. Let's see here. I am using, oh, here we go. So this is what I use. It's made by Sim, whatever you want to call it. Zinc weld. There's a copper one also. I like this one better than the copper. It seems like it welds better. And then got this all cut out where we want it. Got everything ground. And then we'll get this up here, get it mounted, and I'll come back after we've spot welded it in. But there's areas like you can't access, so you got to trim out exactly where it is, get it fitted up there and trim it out to where it fits in, and then weld it in so it's solid. You know, we'll move on to the outer rocker, and I'll show you how to trim that out wherever it needs to be and weld that up so that way there's minimal body work to do on that. And we'll go from there. Then we got to put the cab corner in. Yay. All right, so we got this rocker welded in, the outer finally. Yeah, we cut in here, down there, got all the spot welds welded in. got that in. Came along, went ahead, stuck the new cab corner in, got that welded around. Basically just stick this up here where you want it if you're doing the OEMs, and then, you know, kind of trace out where you want to cut it at, and then slowly do it, you know, in increments. And then now we're going to move on to the bedside, and then we should be close to getting this side done. What's up, guys? All right, so anyway, back to this. We got all of this done. Got our cab corner, all that welded in. We came over here, we've got the bedside panel, the wheel arch. That's in, except for we got to weld up, you know, the groove around it, and then grind that down, and then that'll be ready for skim coat. And this side is done, and we will move to the next.